number 10. So, Canto 1 is the creation, chapter 18 is Mahārāja Parīkṣit, cursed by a Brāhmaṇa boy, and verse number 10. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mahārāja Parīkṣit cursed by Brāhmana boy, chapter 18, verse number 10. Ya katha bhagavataha katha niyoru karmanaha guna karma shraya pumbhi samasevyasta bubhushibhi. Ya katha bhagavataha kathaniyoru karmanaha guna karma shraya pumbhi samsevyasta bubhushubhi. Ya katha bhagavata kathaniyoru karmanaha guna karma shaya pumbhi samasevyasta bubhushubhi. What word, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yaha, whatever, yaha, and whatsoever. Katha, topics, bhagavataha, about the personality of Godhead. Kathaniya, where to be spoken by me. Uru karmanaha, of him who acts wonderfully. Guna, transcendental qualities. Karma, uncommon deeds. Ashrayaha, involving. Pumbhi, by persons. Samsevyaha, ought to be heard. Taha, all of them. Bubhushvi, by those who want their own welfare. Translation: those who are desirous of achieving complete perfection in life must submissively hear all topics that are connected with the transcendental activities and qualities of the personality of Godhead, who acts wonderfully. Purport: the systematic hearing of the transcendental activities, qualities, and names of Lord Krishna pushes one towards eternal life. Systematic hearing means knowing Him gradually in truth and fact. And this knowing Him in truth and fact means attaining eternal life, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Such transcendental glorified activities of Lord Shri Krishna are the prescribed remedy for counteracting the process of birth, death, old age, and disease, which are considered to be material awards for the conditioned living being. The culmination of such a perfectional stage of life is the goal of human life and the attainment of transcendental bliss. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhaktivedanta purports ki jai. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. So here we can see Mahārāja Sutta Goswami is describing the process where Kali is entering. Mahārāja Parīkṣit is trying to thwart his entry, and he's trying to save Mother Earth and the Dharma. And here now Sutta Goswami is narrating the whole Leela. And very wonderful verses these are. If we just read these verses, we can understand this is what we are supposed to do. Because yes, Krishna has gone. So, Kali has now started entering. But then Parīkṣit Mahārāja is there. So still Kali cannot enter. And then we have Prabhupada with us. So still Kali cannot enter. But we have to follow Prabhupada seriously. As Prabhupada says here, the systematic hearing of the transcendental activities, qualities, and names of Lord Krishna pushes one towards eternal life. When Prabhupada says pushes, that means we are actually not interested. We are not desirous. The first quality we must have to achieve perfection in life is that we should have desire. And then once the desire comes, then we will start hearing. Yesterday in one of our Bhakti Vriksha classes, we were discussing that when we study Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says in the 18th chapter, 70th verse, that one who studies this sacred conversation of me and you, Arjun, worships me by his intelligence. So yes, we should do that. Study Bhagavad Gita properly, know what Krishna's instructions are, know what Prabhupada tells us about what we should be doing, and then continue with Srimad Bhagavatam. So if you read this verse and this purport, each and every word we can speak for hours and hours and hours, because Prabhupada, Suta Goswami says that those who are desirous of achieving complete perfection in life must submissively hear all topics that are connected with the transcendental activities and qualities of the personality of Godhead. So Krishna is called Urukrama here. Urukrama means one who acts wonderfully. We have devotees also named as Urukrama Das. In one of the previous verses, we saw Krishna being described as Adbhut Karmanaya. Adbhut Karmanaya means one who acts very wonderfully. So same thing what's described here. So first of all, the desire has to be there, and desire to achieve complete perfection in life. So how do we do that? When Prabhupada says here that when we hear about the transcendental activities, qualities, and names of Krishna, we are pushed towards eternal life. And then Prabhupada says very interestingly, systematic hearing means knowing him gradually in truth and fact. Prabhupada used this phrase, gradually and proportionately. As yesterday we discussed, the difference between a devotee and a pure devotee. A devotee thinks, someone like me of course, that I am a pure devotee. And a pure devotee always thinks that I am not a devotee at all. So when we start hearing the first in the Navada Bhakti, the first one is Shravanam. Now, how does it go? In the Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani, Shivram Maharaj very nicely describes, and we'll touch on it later on. So Prabhupada says systematic hearing means knowing him gradually in truth and fact. So we know that currently the only leg of religion left is truthfulness. And truthfulness is because, as we heard before, it's just because of scriptures. So we should read these scriptures systematically. The other day we went for Harinam and we were discussing about distribution of books. And then, sometimes devotees are very excited to share their, like stories. And we're talking that, yes, so many people are interested in our books and all that. So we are distributing books. But then we also have to understand that we have to read these books. Prabhupada said, I spent sleepless nights, not because not for you reading my books and going to sleep. No. Prabhupada said, you must read my books very carefully. By the way, I have to acknowledge the presence of my esteemed god brother Govind Hari Prabhu, who is with me now here. Because of his mercy and blessings, and because of the mercy and blessings of Viraj Krishna Prabhu, I'm giving class here. So, the goal of life is to achieve Krishna Prema, love of Godhead. And how do we do that? So then Krishna says here, yes, we hear about the transcendental topics of Krishna. In Brahma Samhita, there are 3 verses which actually take us from material world to spiritual world. And this Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes in his Bhakti Rasayana verses. Very wonderfully, the verses are Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratipavita Bhes Tadhirya Eva Nijarupa Taya Kalabhi Golok Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So Brahma is meditating on Govinda, and then is describing that yes, he is the primeval Lord. And where does he reside? Because this is, Brahma is reciting and composing and reciting this Brahma Samhita. So Krishna is not alone there. is residing in Golok Vrindavan along with Srimati Radharani, his own spiritual figure, and who is, Srimati Radharani is the embodiment of the Hladini Shakti, of the ecstatic potency of Krishna. And she is also having all the 64 qualities what Krishna has. And in the company of her Sakhis, she is engaged in the ever blissful rasa with Krishna. So imagine the place, we are here in the material world where there's no rasa. And even if there's a little bit of rasa, it just gets, evaporated very quickly. We try anything, and if you do it in succession, it just disappears. You hear anything nice, after some time, you hear for a long time, the taste doesn't remain. We smell something nice, and that's why when you go to, like a fragrance shop or an attar shop, they will ask you to try, different fragrances, but in between, they'll also ask you to smell the cup of coffee which they give you, so that the smell neutralizes. So in the material world, the rasa is not there, but in the spiritual world, the rasa is eternal. So now we are in the material world, and Brahma is describing us. One of the books we should actually, in a later stage of our spiritual life, we should read is Brahma Samhita. There are two translations as far as I know. One is by Bhanu Swami, and one is, of course, by His Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Very hard to understand that one. Bhanu Swami has given a very simple version, but even that is quite difficult. Because with our material imagination, we cannot even understand. And that's why hearing, constant hearing, and Prabhupada says here, systematic hearing is very important. And when we speak of systematic hearing, that means we hear, we meditate upon it, we try to understand, we try to relate it to other references what we have studied. And then if there are any questions, we should discuss among ourselves and ask the senior devotees. The first verse of Brahma Samhita is, we heard Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabis. And then the second verse, which Bhakti Vinod Thakur describes, to go to the spiritual world, because the ultimate idea, Prabhupada says, is the culmination of such a perfectional stage of life is the goal of human life and the attainment of transcendental bliss. This bliss we will not achieve in the material world. This is only in the spiritual world. So Brahmaji sings, Golok namni nijithamni tale chatasya Devi Mahesh Haridham Suteshu Teshu Tete Prabhav Nichaya Vihitascha Yena Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So Golok Namni Nijadhamni Tale Chatasya Devi Mahesh Haridham Suteshu Teshu. So first, the first level where we are is Devi Dham. Devi Dham means the mundane material world. And this is the lowest where we are situated. Next above that is Mahesh Dham, abode of Mahesh, abode of Lord Shiva. When I was in Vrindavan, His Holiness Bhakti Brihad Bhāgavatam Mahārāja, he gave a very, very wonderful and elaborate description about who Lord Shiva is, who Rudra is, who Sadashiva is. I would, recommend everyone to go through that and understand the position of Lord Shiva. So above the Devi Dham is Mahesh Dham, where Lord Shiva lives. And then above that is Devi Mahesh Haridham. After that is Haridham. Haridham means abode of Lord Hari, right? But even above that is Krishna's Golok Vrindavan, is located Krishna's own realm called Golok. And Brahmaji says, I adore that primeval Lord Govinda, who has what he has done now. He has given each one of us the place where we can go according to our qualities. So the jivas, the mundane jivas, are in the Devi Dham. Lord Shiva is in the Mahesh Dham, and then the liberated entities go to either any of the Vaikuntha Dhams or in Golok Vrindavan. And then the last verse of Brahma Samhita, it's a long verse, so I want to recite the whole verse, the end of Brahma Samhita. And here Brahmaji describes very beautifully what we have heard many, many times, that Krishna is in his Golokadham, and everyone, the loving consorts, Lakshmi Devi, Srimati Radharani, everyone is worshipping Krishna unalloyed, and they are experiencing the unalloyed spiritual bliss. And as Bhaktivinoda Thakur and then Srila Prabhupada gave us, that spiritual world is a place where the every tree is a transcendental purpose tree. It's a what's called Kalpavriksha tree, where the soil is the purpose gem, the water is nectar, every word is a song, every gate is a dance. The flute is the favorite attendant because Krishna is always playing his flute. Effulgence is full of transcendental bliss, and the supreme spiritual entities are all enjoyable and tasty. So, because even the milk, the fruits, the flowers, they're all entities, and they're all enjoyable and tasty. There is no element of time which is destructive in the spiritual world. So this is the way where we can understand that this is the place where Krishna resides. Now, I will ask you on Zoom, where I cannot see you, to raise your hand if you want to go there. Yes? If you don't want to go there, that's fine. But if you want to go there, then Krishna actually helps us. Krishna actually helps us how to go there. So Prabhupada says systematic hearing means knowing Krishna gradually in truth and fact. And then that way we can get eternal life. So, okay, now how do we do that? We are trying to hear every day. And what is Krishna doing? Krishna, of course, we know as in the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Tesham anukampartham aham ajnanatam jamaha, right? So, ajnanajamatamaha, ajnanajamatamaha. So, Krishna is sitting in our hearts as Paramatma. He is destroying the darkness what we have with the transcendental knowledge. Now, does Krishna want us to go there? Does Krishna want us to go back to him? Shivaram Swami in his Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani, he describes very nicely, says, at this point of time, we are all in mixed devotion. As we saw yesterday, we are not pure devotees. We are just trying to be devotees. That is in my case. So then what happens? We have got some sukriti, some agyat sukriti, and we come in touch with the devotional service, right? Devotional service are currently tinged with some selfish motives, yeah? But then, slowly, when we start practicing, we start hearing more, we start chanting, we start doing service, we will come almost till the end of our material existence. It will take some time, maybe as Prabhupada says, one moment, maybe this lifetime, maybe a few lifetimes, but the process is there because Krishna wants us to go back to him. But as Prabhupada says here, hearing about Krishna's names and qualities and pastimes pushes one towards eternal life. And as we said before, why pushes? Because we don't want to go there. If someone doesn't want to go somewhere, and someone else wants to take him there, as we can see, Prabhupada's friend, we can say push Prabhupada to meet Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Prabhupada didn't want to go because he had some not very nice experiences with the sadhus. So what's his name? Narendra Malik, he said, no, you come. This is not an ordinary sadhu. You have to come. So devotee, he pushes. And as we know, spiritual master, senior devotees, they intervene in our lives. They interfere in our lives, make our material lives uncomfortable so that we can, go towards spiritual life. Now, Krishna says in the 11th canto, very, very interesting statement. So hear this very carefully, please. Krishna says, if one engages in my transcendental loving service, yes, we are all wanting to engage in Krishna's transcendental service, but at the same time wants the opulence of material enjoyment. Yeah, so, I'm like that. I want to engage in devotional service, but I want to still enjoy the opulence of my material life. Krishna says he's very, very foolish. So if someone wants to engage in devotional service, but still at the same time want to enjoy material life, Krishna says he's very, very foolish. Indeed, he's just like a person who gives up nectar to drink poison. But what does Krishna do? Krishna describes himself. He says, since I am very intelligent, Krishna says, why should I give this fool material prosperity? Yeah. Instead, I shall induce him to take the nectar of the shelter of my lotus feet and make him forget illusory material enjoyment. Yes, this is Bhagavatam. So Krishna will help us when we are sincere. Now, Krishna's strategy is very simple. He is very simple how he wants to reform mixed devotees and make them pure Vaishnavas. Yeah, because yesterday we spoke about, devotees want to hear about pure devotees and Krishna. And we also want to come to that stage, yes, where I want to just worship Krishna, nothing else. So Krishna has got a strategy, and he wants to reform us, mixed devotees, into pure devotees. So what does it do? He awakens pure faith in our hearts. So when we chant, when we hear, when we do some service with a nice, sincere mood of only pleasing Krishna, and that's why at the temple, we always, when we get together as a team, for any meeting, we always remind ourselves, okay, why are we doing this service? Like how I will give, and I've given this analogy, and because my friend Govind Hari is also, into cricket, before the cricket match, there is a team huddle. Yeah, there's a team huddle. So we have also in our teams a team huddle, and we remind ourselves that we are doing this service to please Krishna and his devotees. So when we remind ourselves in the association of devotees, pure faith is developed in our hearts. Then we understand the mood of doing services to please Krishna and his devotees. So this pure faith then inspires us to take up pure devotional service. And at the same time, we want to abandon all the mixed forms. We don't want karma mishra bhakti, we don't want jnana mishra bhakti, we just want pure devotional service. So Krishna does this in two ways, right? One he does is indirectly by inspiring devotees to continually refine our faith. We have some faith, but we have more faith in the material life. As we spoke yesterday, Keshav Maharaj says, Krishna, 1 for you, 2 for me. Krishna, 2 for you, 5 for me, like that. So this, the mixed faith, which is called in semblance of faith, it is not pure faith, but there is some faith. So Krishna is inspiring us by the association of devotees and by us doing service to continually refine this semblance of faith, right? That is one way. The second way, Krishna says, I directly intervene in their life to immediately accept pure faith. Very interesting. So Krishna indirectly also works and also works directly. Now it depends on our desires. If you want to, pray to Krishna, Krishna, please help me out. I don't want any material attachment. Krishna will do that also. Yeah. Now, when do we take the direct faith? Because of course, it's easy for us to desire. Yes, I want to have a direct faith. But then the process we have to hear also. So Krishna says, the mixed devotees take direct faith when they are under the protection of a realized Vaishnava. So when we understand, of course, we have a team of devotees in every place. In every temple you go, there are devotees like Radhe Shyam Prabhu, there are devotees like Gauranga Prabhu, there are devotees like Vaishashika Prabhu. So if we are under the protection of these realized Vaishnavas, then for us it's easy to understand what Krishna says. Krishna's conclusive order in Bhagavad Gita is, what is the conclusive order? Mam ekam sharanam raja. Yeah, Mam ekam sharanam raja. But we cannot do that as of now on our own. And what we have is only what we can give. So yes, in a situation where the senior devotee is also trying, but even the senior devotees can only give what they have. Someone like Vaishashika Prabhu is a pure devotee. He encourages, organizes, inspires, and enthuses so many wonderful personalities in the service of Radha Krishna and the Srila Prabhupada. So Krishna says, Mam ekam sharanam raja. Yes, you just take shelter of me, right? But if you cannot do that, then what Krishna does is, he says, okay, take the indirect path. Now, Krishna again says in the 11th canto, very interesting, right? We have to understand very clearly our position. Says, as long as one is not satiated by fruitive activity and has not awakened his taste for devotional service by Shravanam Kirtanam, right? Again, hearing is most important. So by constant hearing, we will then a stage will come when there won't be any desire for any fruitive activities, right? And the taste for devotional service will awaken. But as long as that doesn't happen, the indirect path of the Vaidhi Bhakti is going to help us. So Krishna says here in the 11th canto that one has to act according to the regulative principles of the Vedic injunctions. So these are the two direct and indirect path. The indirect path is to follow the Vaidhi Bhakti, the regulative principles of Vedic injunctions, and just continue on that path by following the 9 processes of bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, etc. The direct method is just to serve under a realized Vaishnava and just take the elevator instead of the ladder. But then the advantage or the comfort we have here is that the Lord is guiding the devotees on the indirect path as the same way He guides on the direct path. And when we have senior devotees come, and right now Shrutakirti Prabhu is here this evening and tomorrow, he's going to speak at the Dara temple on the glories of Prabhupada. So we should all go there and try to hear the glories of Srila Prabhupada from a realized Vaishnava. He's a person who has been with Prabhupada for a long, long time. He has seen Prabhupada very, very intimately. And that's why if we have a chance today and tomorrow, we should go and hear from him. So yes, the Lord, what He does? He speaks to the devotees who are desiring the indirect path of progressing. He speaks to these people face to face through the medium of these learned Vaishnavas, right? And from within as Paramatma. Yeah. So when we hear from outside from these spiritual personalities like Shrutakirti Prabhu, Hariswari Prabhu, all the Swamis who come here, and then Krishna also guides us within as Paramatma. So this way, these mixed devotees like us, gradually or without delay, very quickly come to realize that material world is useless, and then we take up to devotional service, which is very, very potent. So this is Krishna is explaining to Uddhava that either directly or indirectly, I help people if they are interested either in direct path or indirect path. But most important thing is that by hearing constantly, by associating with these devotees, by hearing the voice of Paramatma, we can then slowly get away from the attachment or the allurement of the material energies. And then Uddhava at the end glorifies the Lord and he says, my Lord, you appear in two features, one as the Acharya, one as the spiritual master, and internally as the super soul, as Paramatma, to deliver the living entities by directing him how to come to you. So this way, if we have the desire to hear, Prabhupada says here systematically, Krishna will definitely help us. He's helping us both directly and indirectly through his direct intervention or by giving us pure faith. You see devotees sometimes when they come to Krishna consciousness, very quickly they have pure faith and they start serving very nicely. You can give example of Prabhupada. Prabhupada just came in touch with his guru just once and pure faith was awakened. Of course, he had pure faith all the time, but it was manifested and then the rest is history. So this way, by constant hearing, we should be not be pushed, but we should be inclined to travel towards the final goal of our destination, which is the transcendental bliss. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Any questions or comments, reflections, realizations? Please unmute yourself and share. Okay. So
Hare
you
Krishna.
have, yes.
Sorry. I just had one thing to add. At the very beginning, you mentioned about book distribution.
Yes.
And I heard this somewhere, which is very profound. Is we are not convincing enough because we are not convinced enough.
Yes.
I quite like that.
Yes, because we have not read Prabhupada's books, we are not convinced enough, and then we are not convincing enough. Yes.
Thank you.
That's why, the journey should go together. We should read also, study, and then distribute books. It's very interesting. If you speak to most of the devotees who are, quite senior and advanced, they'll tell you that, time and time and time again, Prabhupada's books, just, have this, light bulb moment. And that pushes us towards, the progress in the spiritual life. Thank you for sharing this, Neha. Anyone else? Any questions or comments? Okay, you all have a wonderful devotional day. Krishna willing, we'll see you tomorrow at 6:30 to again study and glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.